is where we have to come in.
Right.
Is because you got to understand where this is coming. This show is to help all the guys to, first of all, to make sure that if you ever break up with your girl, I don't got to deal with this bitch and your lack of raising her correctly.
And now
if
I got to deal with it.
You don't raise your bitch correctly,
That's right.
you are potentially putting me in a fucked up situation if you don't raise her right. It's like having a child and you don't raise them in the house and then they walk out in the streets and they fucking rob people and they steal and they fucking say, hey, baby, hey, bitch. It's because the parent didn't raise them right. It's I got to deal with your horse shit, fellas. This show is basically to help men in a nutshell. Understand, to help you get to be able to introduce another option to how your girl thinks.
Now,
that's
Patrice,
what this show is about.
What about, I want to go back to the girlfriend in the bed thing.
Right.
Do you think the reason she did that was it was insecurity? She wanted to know. It's a codependent. That you would,
an arrogant. She was arrogant and humble at the same time. She wants me to give her the man shit, like open the door,
like
take
honey,
put my coat on for me. She wants the gentleman part, but she doesn't want the humbleness. She doesn't want the humbleness to say, sweetie, here's your decision that I'm giving you as a man. I'm forcing you to make the right decision. It's a forcing. It's an unnatural thing. It's not tapping into my desire, because that's what women don't know how to do, is tap into a man's desire. To see, if she knew how to do that, I would automatically give her the side of the bed she wants. Because I would go, in my mind, I would go, sweetie, you might not be able to see if I'm on the side, and I'm getting tired, just lay on the side. But my mind wasn't so entrenched in her shit that I was just going, hey, I'll lay anywhere. But she had pretense. You understand? And I picked up on the pretense. That's what my stomach picked up on, was the pretense that she had to I'm like, what?
And her question of where you want to sleep is not an honest. It's not an honest question.
Right. And
that's the point.
Primal instinct that we get as men.
It absurd to me. But
of course.
As a woman, though, I don't know. I don't do that. Whatever I think generally comes flying out of my mouth.
Now, who's the proof that you don't do that, Kevin? Because I find that hard to believe.
Okay.
Because you're a girl.
Really?
You're having trouble saying what you feel now. You're going, because she's bumbling over her words because she wants to, exactly. It's her other half.
Dialogue.
Because let me tell you what's going on. If you're listening,
I would not. If I wanted to watch TV, I would say, could I lay where I could see the TV?
Yeah, but here's what happens.
Shut up.
I would.
Here's
I don't
what
understand
happens.
why anyone wouldn't.
You don't, and stop. Because I've had conversations with you. You do a lot of this. Like this is. You ever talk to Kathleen? The one thing that bugs me is she goes, because she's trying to find the right thing to say. You're less emotional than most because you have a few personalities.
Kathleen is like a chick dude, and she's in constant. Both sides, her masculine and feminine aspects is always at odds. It's always at odds.
Because you're finding that way to say what you want to say. Do you understand? You don't have your primal instinct is not honesty. You don't come from honesty. You're not born in honesty.
You're not born.
Women are not born
in
honesty.
With
you don't need to be. You don't need to have charisma. You don't need to figure it all out. You just need to have. Men have developed a lot of different verbal skills that women haven't because you haven't had to. There's no need for you to have a conversational ability. And when you do have conversational ability, you force it on guys because you know that most women don't. So you kind of just fly over a guy like a big goddamn hawk and make a guy.
I'm sorry.
Listen.
I force conversation on people.
Go ahead, finish your thought.
Hi. I'm sorry, you're wrong. I
Why
don't
am I
force
wrong?
Conversation on people. You do. I mean, coming from you, that's absurd.
But I know what I'm saying is infinitely more interesting.
I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because I actually not only do I have something. Here's something you do to a woman that will work 99.9% of the time. If she says, "Here's what I think," all you have to do to combat her is go, "Why?" She never has the thought that actually is the purpose for her thought. She just has a thought, but there's never a reasoning. Guys always have a reasoning behind what we're saying.
You always know that you're going to be questioned. That there's a possibility that if you make a statement, you will be questioned about why you said that or why you feel that way.
You're very defensive. You're like there's constantly a battle.
I need to
with
be
females.
Yes.
And
yes. Who the fuck else is going to do it if I don't? Who? Who's going to tell you to shut the fuck up if I don't?
That's a good point. I just, the woman.
Exactly. That's a good point.
Yeah. Because you know what? Women's comfort zone
that you're talking about. The woman with the bad thing.
The women.
The woman that you would go out with. Yeah. This is an insecure thing to do. Now, my point, why is this woman in bed with a guy that that is that insecure about? I mean, that woman did not know if you loved her. That was her thing. She was insecure.
Kathleen, talk about the guy, the goofy guy that you said was so sweet that you dumped him because he wanted to have kids. Remember when we were talking about...
That's not me.
Yes, it was you. You said it was a guy, he's a doctor
Kathleen,
or something.
Tap into the personality that should be on the show.
There was a guy that you said wanted kids and you couldn't give him what he wanted. So,
okay, you know what I'm talking about? Kids, but yeah, it was,
or whatever, your career.
He was a doctor.
Now wait, what's the point of this story though? What's the point for you to get ready to say this story? What point is?
This was not an emotional thing though.
The point is that you said what you said. You said that you left him alone. You really liked him. You said you really loved him, but you let him go because you loved him and you couldn't give him what he wanted, which is crap. Bottom line is, if you love somebody, you're willing to give...
Wait, let her tell the story, though, Dante. Let her tell the story.
It's a very basic thing. We were together. What he really wanted was, to be married and have a different kind of life than when I was leading. He's like a doctor, gets up at 6. Mm-hmm. I'm running around doing comedy. And ultimately, it's not going to work. This is not a guy out looking to get laid or whatever.
Okay.
This is what he wants. He's at the point of his life where he wants to settle down. He has his career, and it just didn't work out. That's it.
It didn't work out because of what?
There's no bed thing where the TV.
No, I'm not saying that.
We watch TV in bed a lot. There was never issues with that.
But this is what. Hold on, Kathleen. Hold on a second. Hold on. This is what I'm saying. Now, you think that you had a reason behind that, but let me tell you what the reason was. The reason was insecurity. Now, you left him because this is why. Because you left him because you didn't have, you wanted to have, it's a fear of success. It's that self destruction thing, that self degradation thing where you control. And I've done this a lot of time. I'm a bridge burner. I'm a professional bridge burner. And burning bridges is basically when you feel like you are like a little nervous. Like say Opie says this, hey yo, you want to come do this radio show? And I am scared out of my balls, right? I come here, I do something to try to fuck up this radio show, but on my terms. Not come in here and
give it a shot.
Face the stress of maybe sucking, but gave it a good try. You were scared of failing in that relationship on his terms, not living up to the doctor. Because you said, why would you have to say he was a doctor? You know why? Because that puts him at a social level that you might. I'm a lowly comic. He's a doctor. Yeah. He wants certain things that I can't give him. So instead of giving it a shot and maybe giving him certain things, you said, fuck it, I'm out of here. Because you was afraid of losing it on his terms because you're a girl.
But Patrice, couldn't it just be the logistics of it? It would be like, okay, well, I'll be done at 10. I'll call you. It's 10:15. I call, he's asleep.
Yeah.
I wake him up. He's a little pissed.
Yeah.
I get there. It's 11:30.
Does that sound like neediness?
Doesn't he get a chance? Doesn't he get a chance to say?
Why bother? Why not just?
Doesn't he get a chance to say what he'll put up with? Like, if you give it a shot and you give all you could give, doesn't he get a chance to say what is enough or what's not enough?
I just
but
don't.
you made the decision for
it's
him.
Not...
You bailed on it before him instead of saying, this is what I got to give. Is that enough? And he could have said, hey, it's not enough for me. And then you would have went each other's separate ways.
Well,